What's going on, everybody? Welcome. And I was trying to avoid this subject and try to talk about something else, but it's just getting too much now. I don't know what's going on, but I've never seen so many mass shootings in my life. I mean, like, when is enough enough? Like, when is the government going to do something about these homegrown terrorists? I'm just gonna have to get blunt with it. You know, I tried dancing around this, but I just gotta get blunt with this. When is the government gonna do something about these homegrown terrorists? Keep in mind, I said homegrown terrorist. That is, by definition, exactly what's going on with these mass shootings. All of the mass shootings that have been going on for like the past, 2, 3 days, have been homegrown, have been people who are Americans, white American men and young men have been the cause of the terrorism that's going on in this country. Dylan Roof, the Las Vegas shooting. What else? Dayton. Did it just happen yesterday? Dayton happened yesterday? Then there was a shooting before the one the Dayton one. There been so many mass shootings. I'm actually getting confused about which one is which. Cause I could. It's just crazy, and the whole entire time we are still talking about this whole build a wall thing and this whole ICE deal where people are rounding up Mexican immigrants and sending them back to their home country. Meanwhile, white American men are killing people wholesale, and they are killing specific people. They're not just doing a shooting just random. Doing the El Paso. That's what El Paso was before Dayton. El Paso was before Dayton. Dayton just happened. I think it was either like yesterday or today. One of them, in El Paso, Texas, happened before that. These weren't immigrants that did this. This was a homegrown terroristic attack. Yet people are still talking about immigrants coming from other countries. It's not the immigrants coming from other countries. It's the people who are here already doing the killing. It's always been that way. It has always been that way. You know how people say, most of the crimes that go on happen to people that you live in close proximity to. So it's not a race thing. You kill where you are close to. All right? You kill where you're closest. All right? That's why they say people who have dealt with domestic violence and rape and molestation, the culprit is usually the one closest. Your spouse, your sibling, your parent. The same thing applies when it comes to terroristic attacks. The same thing applies. You terrorize where you are closest. All right? You terrorize where you are closest. You do the most terror where you are closest. It's in better proximity. So, all of these mass shootings, if Mexicans and blacks are so bad as people, as propaganda, as media will make you believe, and they'll go back to your country thing, all that crap. If the immigrants are so bad, how come none of the immigrants are causing the mass shootings? All of the mass shootings that have gone on, I have not heard one person of Mexican descent be shown as a suspect. I have not heard one black person be named as a suspect for these terroristic attacks. The farthest you can go back is the DC sniper. The DC sniper is as far back as you can go that a person of color was the cause of mass shooting. Right? Other than that, anything else has been white men. The same white men who tell immigrants to go back to their country are the ones doing the most killing, but these folks are still alive. The guy that did the shooting is still alive. Yet and still, unarmed black people are still being killed by the police with no repercussions. That's the crazy part. Dylan Roof killed 9 people in a church in South Carolina, taken alive. I forgot the man's name, but they found images from I think it was the El Paso terrorist. I'm gonna call him a terrorist. That's what he is. He's a terrorist. One that acts in terror. That's what a terrorist is. One that incites terror. Okay, that's what a terrorist is. You have images of him spelling out Trump with guns. Trump. Trump. Spelled using guns. Not just any old guns, assault rifles and big handguns. Like, these aren't just your regular, ordinary, run-of-the-mill handguns, you know. These are guns you use if you're going to do some heavy damage. If you're going to do, I don't know, let's say, a mass shooting. That's what these guns are for. And all of these people share the same rhetoric. They are somehow inspired by the words of Trump, Donald Trump. They are inspired. They are energized by the rhetoric of Donald Trump. That's the one thread between all this. All of them show praise to Trump. And you mean to tell me that? Let me just say, prayers to all of the families of the victims, that were killed and injured in these mass shootings. My prayers go out to you. You know, my condolences to all of you. It's unfortunate that people love acting in their lesser selves and love acting in their lower nature and thinking that we are like it's okay to do this. It is not. It is absolutely insane, deplorable. It is vile and evil. And for a government that claims to be of the people, for the people, and by the people, and for a government that claims to be a democracy and a free republic, the more I see news relating to the government, the less of a democracy it becomes. To the point where you got to question, well, shoot, was it ever a democracy in the first place? Was it really ever a democracy, or is it a democracy for a certain group of people? Because it seems like the only reason why these mass murderers have not been killed on sight like unarmed black men have been with unarmed black men and women. It seems like the only reason why unarmed black men and women and children have been killed with no repercussions is because we don't have the complexion for the protection, as Paul Mooney would say. We live in times where, you know what? The crazy part about this isn't new. Mass murders are not new. Check your American history. From the beginning, actually predating American history, and the beginning of American history, there have always been mass murders. Nothing new. The only difference is it is now being recorded in real time, where you have live feed of a mass murder. It used to be mass murders happen. You either wouldn't hear about it at all, or you hear about it on the news. We read it, or you see it on television later, way later afterwards. Now we live in a time where you can, in real time, witness a live mass murder. Where you can hear the gunshots, you can hear the police, you can see the action happen as it's going, and that type of event, it reveals every day. It reveals more and more and more how we really see and value human life. It really brings home how much we actually see and value human life, and how cold people and governments can be, and how picky we can be on what we choose to pay attention to. You know, it's never a problem if it's quote unquote black on black, which ain't no such thing as black on black crime, but it's never a problem when rival gang members kill each other. It's never an issue. Never an issue. But let it be in Las Vegas. Big problem. You know, all these, it's or El Paso. You know, we the thing is, we get to pick and choose what we want to watch, which means we get to pick and choose what we want to pay attention to. And because of that, we have the luxury, quote unquote luxury, of divorcing our emotions when we see fit. But the problem is going to come where there's going to come a point where no one can avoid it. There's going to come a point where no one is going to be able to avoid the body count. No one. See, like I said, right now we live in a day and age where we get to ignore, we get to pick and choose, we get to turn off social media, We get to turn off TVs. We get to turn on and off what we want, which means we get to ignore pain and suffering whenever we want to, right? Because as long as it's not at our doorstep, it won't affect us personally. But there's going to come a point in time where the blood is going to get too deep and the body count is going to get too high where it is no longer avoidable. We haven't gotten there yet. We are getting close. It's going to come a point where we are going to have to reconcile with our actions and inactions on how we view human life. And when that day comes, hopefully, we can get our act together. I say we because I'm a human like everybody else, and I'm in this. I'm in this country. No matter where you go, there's all going to be issues. And like I said, it's going to come a point in time where when it gets to your doorstep, you're going to see how complacent you are when it hits your. I said, ain't no fun when the rabbit got the gun. Remember that expression? Ain't no fun when the rabbit got the gun. So, it's my condolences again to the families, and enough is enough. I'll catch you all later. Peace.